This is Majin. Here's some comic reviews for you. We have Batman 9, Action Comics 32, Futures 5, Spider, Mags, Cyclops, and I think that'll probably be it. Anyways, Batman Eternal. Okay, basically what happens is Batman goes to Japan because he found out that Falcone was in a gang warfare. I'm sorry, he's not in Japan, he's like Hong Kong or someplace like that. And he was in the middle of a gang warfare with some locals, and he was for the most part kicking everybody's butt, and then he decided, to pull out, and he lost for some reason. So Batman's like going there to figure out why he lost. And I'm like, okay, if you really want to do that, or did you just need to introduce, Batman Inc. again? Well, whatever. So anyways, Batman goes there, there's your typical dragon ninjas, so they're fighting, and then he's saved by one of the Batman Inc. people. And he goes, well, Batman, you're lucky because Wayne, your benefactor, has this great place for us that we can hang out and we can talk about what's going on. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then we meet this old man who makes tea. That's his job, is to make tea. And he's a tea reader. And he's like, well, Batman, you must hurry up and leave this area because Gotham is in great darkness now. Like, wait, dude, what part of Gotham is continually in darkness? Gotham is like a city that nobody paid the electric bill because it's always dark. Nothing ever shines. Nothing ever is good in Gotham. You didn't even have to read tea to figure that thing out. Oh my god, I'm so freaking done with these freaking fortune tellers. Probably asking for a $20 tip on top of that. Now, while we go there, then we meet the Kingpin. Now, I don't know how DC managed to put the Kingpin in here, but he's there. And Batman just pretty much takes him down really quick. And he's like, okay, tell me how it happened. How did you beat Falcone? And then, he tells him, and I'm like, ugh. But I'll give it this much. At least it's a reason that happened. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a pass. No big deal. At least it's interesting because it means that something bigger is going on in Gotham than controlling the, like the crime in Asia. But unfortunately, there's also, he gets the kickback. So on top of that, I'm like, oh. And then we get to meet this person here. Now, either this person spends a lot of time in a tanning booth, or I don't know. But she's related to somebody who's very close to Batman. And I'm like, so this is why we really sent Batman to the Asia. Is we went to introduce this character because she's after the gang leader. And they couldn't figure out a way to bring her into Gotham without doing that. Anyways, this is a good book. It's average. It's not as good as Snyder's Batman proper book, but hey, if you want to spend $3 a week on Batman, hey, you're all set. I only wish this character was in this book because that would have made this book a lot better. Okay, now here's the deal. Even though I'm a little down on this, if in terms of a Doomsday story, I will give them props in that they're giving us something that's unique, something that's interesting. Do I agree with everything that they've done? Nah, not really. But come on, you know me by now. I don't agree with everything. But I will give them props in that it's an interesting idea, and I applaud them of doing that rather than just your typical let's smash it out, because that, as much as I like it, it's going to get old really quick. Now, my problem really came with the government solution to get rid of Superman is they send this plane over, and it's full of kryptonite. A lot of kryptonite gas. And I'm like going, didn't Fear Itself, not Fear Itself, but didn't Forever Evil just happen? And didn't the evil Superman, take all the kryptonite? So when does this take place? Does this take place after Forever Evil? Or is this, pre-Forever Evil? And, you know, it's stuff like that just starts hurting my head, trying to fit everything into continuity. Actually, it has to be after continuity, after Forever Evil, because Lex is helping them. And Lex normally wouldn't have helped them. So there's the answer to that question. And why does the goddamn government have all that kryptonite when they already looked for it? Jesus. Future's End. I'll tell you what's wrong here. They plotted this out before they knew all the kryptonite was gone. Ugh. Future's End. Okay, this is... The art's okay. It's average. But, you know, when you have a weekly book, what can you expect, you know? You're not going to get greatness all the time. Grifter's paralyzed, and the guy who paralyzed him says, well, basically, if you want to be unparalyzed, you're going to have to work for me. And that's basically what's going on there. But the key thing is we get a resolution to the Firestorm thing here, where you had whatchamacallit trapped inside his body. What's his name? Damn it, I can't remember his stupid name. Jason. Okay, so Jason's stuck in his body, and he's basically starting to lose it because, you know, he can't even communicate any longer, and he's not even he can't even see what Firestorm sees anymore. And then suddenly, he's freed. He's like, okay, I'm home, I'll let you go. And yeah, I know I kept you inside of me because I thought you were going to betray me and tell the world that, you know, I was responsible. Even though it's been weeks since it happened, I'm just going to let you go. I don't want to be Firestorm anymore. And I'm like, and he just goes, well, you know, you took my life away from me. You know, I lost my finals, I had my internship, and blah, 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 blah. And then when it happens, he goes straight to his job. Like, what about picking up the phone and calling somebody, you know? Like, maybe somebody, like a superhero, to go, hey, this is what's going on. Considering he got to work early. Now, here's the thing. He goes to his job early, and then they're like, where were you? We've been trying to call you. He's like, family emergency, medical, and I lost my phone. Oh, that explains it. Bullshit, that explains it. Let me tell you something. You know what happens when you are gone from work without doing a no-call, no-show? It's called you get fired. You know, internship or not, you get fired. And the fact that he's like, oh, sure. You know what? I'll tell you what would have happened. I do this, I pull this nonsense, and I go into my job. Do you know what my boss would say to me? What, you couldn't pick up another phone? Really? You don't know my number to call? You know, what, you couldn't send me an email? You couldn't have used a computer somewhere? Family emergencies, fine. You know, a lot of companies that are at least compassionate will give you a day or so to, like, be able to go, okay, that makes sense. But, you know, you can call after a couple days. They call shenanigans on that. You know, they want to see death certificates. They want to see something going on. You better be in a coma and you couldn't call somebody before you pull this type of nonsense. And when I see shit like that, I'm calling it like it is. That's fucking lazy-ass writing, you know. That's just, I don't want to deal with the implications of what just happened because I want to get to this next page. That's bullshit, man. This shouldn't happen. You know, treat me with a little bit, like I have a little bit more intelligence, and I'm not no 10-year-old who doesn't understand the concept of what really would have happened. That's complete another bullshit. You know, fucking lazy-ass writing. Alright, Spider-Man. Peter Parker's back. But is it really Peter Parker? Or is it a clone? Norman Osborn's back also. And basically what's going on is Peter wants his web shooters back, and then they fight a little bit, and then, of course, Miles has to do the talk with his girlfriend. It was a decent read, you know, overall. It's not, like, fantastic, but it was a decent read. If anything, I'm really curious to see, is that really Peter? And I want to see the reveal. Because I have this strange feeling that his girlfriend's not going to react the way that he wants her to react. If he does tell her that he is Spider-Man. This book does not fail me. Out of 5 issues, this is 5 for 5 solid entertainment. Basically, what's going on is there's a girl that's been following Magneto, and she's basically telling them, you know, you need some help. I can help you out. You know, I got some intel. Let me help you. But there's something about her that you know, she may not be exactly who she claims to be. Regardless, I'm totally enjoying this. If you are not, this is one of those new books from the Marvel Nows that you should definitely buy. It's solid. This is the Magneto that you know and love, and you just wish he was at full power. Cyclops. Okay, this is the part that I don't get. Cyclops comes from the past to the present, and from the present he goes off into space, but the boy can't pack clothes to save his life. I'm like, really, Scott? You have your collar button all the way to the top. You're looking like this high school, you know, lack of a better word, you know, like nerd, and completely out of place compared to his father. I'm like, well, what about his dad? Couldn't he throw him some bucks to get some clothes? You know, and then, like, look at that. Look at that. Then he meets this hot alien girl, and he's like, woo, me going on a date. I think I like the space. And I'm like, she's not looking at you because of that. She's looking at that collared shirt and she's cracking up. That's what's going on. But anyways, this was a really interesting read, even though I'm goofing on it. Here's the deal. It's a really good father-son storyline, and there's some bad things that are happening with Corsair right now, and this is the type of storyline that we probably would have wanted to have seen years ago, like when they first met. But they can do things a little bit differently now because Scott's younger, and this is basically, okay, if you look at it in one way, this is a type of storyline that is going to shape Cyclops to be the person he is going to be, because now he has a father figure. Now, you can argue that Professor X is a father figure, but Professor X really is not his dad, and basically all Scott's doing is chasing Xavier's dream, but this is his dad. You know, his dad is teaching him life. His dad is there. They're bonding, and this is something that he never had. And this is what I think makes the story a little bit interesting. And I'm definitely glad I'm getting it. Rucka's doing a great job with it. You know, if he keeps this up, this is definitely going to be a tradable book. He just got to get Scott some new clothes, that's all. Anyways, that is my reviews. Let me get you some codes. I'm sure you guys probably want an original sin code. Let me see if I can get you that. This thing won't come off. Okay. Just get in focus. Get in focus. I'll get you Magneto. Is it digital? It is. Tis dig. And I'll get you Cyclops. Alright, don't forget, Edge of Tomorrow opens up this weekend. My City opens up tomorrow. Based off of the manga, all you need is kill. That's it for today. More reviews later. Until next time.